I am Jennifer. I'm the branch manager for the big city of Brandon, Manitoba. Some of you may recognize me from our daily Facebook Live videos where I've been promoting all of our fantastic Black Friday deals, and we've currently got our Black Friday sale running. I'm stepping in for the fabulous Sherry today, and we're talking about all things Cayo Coco. So before we get started, I have a few tips for any of our new viewers. It's a live presentation, as we just realized. So there might be moments where your screen freezes. Please be patient, as it should correct itself within 30 seconds. If you're viewing today on a handheld device, you may want to unlock your screen view, turn your device sideways to landscape mode. We also do have a Q&A chat function available on the right-hand side of your screen. So at the end of the presentation, we'll have a Q&A session with our experts. So please post your questions in the chat and we'll ask them during the session. Now, joining us today, we have two wonderful ladies from Air Canada Vacations, the fabulous Judy and Lindsay. And we also have our own very fabulous Ashley from our St. John's branch to share her personal memories of her trip to Cayo Coco. So thanks for joining us today, ladies.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, I'm delighted that you're here.
Thank you.
Now, did you just love those glitches in the system already today? the joys of live presenting. So listen, we're super excited about hearing all about Cayo Coco. So I have lots of questions for you today, ladies. But Lindsay, I'm going to start off with yourself. When did Cayo Coco reopen for business?
Well, thanks so much, Jennifer. Our first flight resumed from Montreal to Cayo Coco on the 4th of September. Then we resumed Toronto to Cayo Coco on the 25th of September, and they both flew with great flight loads. And what I mean by flight loads is that the planes were pretty full, which is great news. People really want to travel, which is a great sign.
Oh, that's fantastic. And how many flights do you have going to Cayo Coco weekly?
Well, we have Montreal to Cayo Coco currently 1 time per week, and it'll increase to 2 times per week in December, which is right around the corner, until April. And then we have Toronto to Cayo Coco. Currently, that runs 1 time per week as well, and we'll increase that to 3 times per week in December and 4 times per week for March and April. And then we have Ottawa to Cayo Coco and Halifax to Cayo Coco, and they'll be both 1 time per week starting in February. So we have a lot of options for your clients, and we also have connectors from 54 Canadian gateways. So if you're out west like I am, you just make that quick connection through Toronto, and you can get down to the island.
Well, that's brilliant, because I was just going to ask you, as I said, I'm in very cold Manitoba, and I was hoping that we could get a flight from Winnipeg. So that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Now, Judy, we know Cayo Coco is a top-selling destination for Canadians. Tell all of our viewers what draws people there.
Well, Jennifer, without a doubt, 100%, it's the beaches and the Cuban people, for sure. Beaches are spectacular in Cuba, especially in Cayo Coco area. It's actually 22 kilometers of sandy beach, pristine clear water. You can snorkel right from the beach. The water's pretty calm and shallow, so you can walk forever from the beach on out. You could, be way out and still see the color of your toenail polish for sure. And kite surfing is very, very popular in this region. And due to the fact, of course, because of the shallow water and stuff, and the color of the water is amazing. And this area of Cuba, Cayo Coco, was actually made quite famous by Ernest Hemingway, the author. So he wrote a couple of novels, I think Islands in the Stream and The Old Man in the Sea, which were both based on Cayo Coco, Cayo Guillermo areas when he wrote that, and he spent a lot of time there. So yeah, it's a very great destination and top notch for a lot of Canadians heading south.
Oh my goodness, those pictures are just making me want to go right now. So they are. Now, we know it's very small and secluded. Would you say it's more for travelers who just want to stay on resort and relax?
Absolutely, Jennifer. Cayo Coco is what they call a Cayo, and you have Cayo Coco and Cayo Guillermo, which is connected by a small bridge. And there's actually, believe it or not, 3 statues of Ernest Hemingway on the bridge that connects you from Cayo Coco to Cayo Guillermo. But regardless of which property or whether you're staying in Cayo Guillermo or Cayo Coco, the airports wouldn't be any more than 20, 30 minutes back from the airport to either one of your hotels, if not shorter. But the interesting thing about Cayo Coco, due to the COVID-19 situation, because it's a Cayo, the Cuban government has done an amazing job of kind of creating its own bubble, which is really, really interesting. So for those people out there and for anybody else that doesn't know, there's no residents that live in Cayo Coco. The only thing in the Cayo Coco, Cayo Guillermo area, it's a resort area. So it's only the hotels. All of the workers themselves live in the town of Moron or further. And it's about a 27-kilometer causeway that connects Moron to Cayo Coco, Cayo Guillermo. So it's a very secluded and safe area. But I just want to take a second to tell you about these amazing protocols that they have put in place due to COVID-19. So in this Cayo, what they've done is all the workers are working on a 14-day rotation. So first of all, when anyone arrives in Cayo Coco at the airport, regardless if you're coming from Halifax, if you're coming from Calgary, Vancouver, Ottawa, Montreal, everybody gets a temperature check, and then they're being tested with COVID-19, all being done by the Cuban authorities at the airport. So then they would leave the area and go with the mask to the resort. You get your COVID-19 test results back within 24 hours. And then once you have that and you're confirmed no COVID test, you can remove your mask. But the interesting thing is, let's say that I'm starting my shift tomorrow and Lindsay is finishing her shift tomorrow. So what's happening is the Cuban government is bringing all the workers that start their shift today, bringing them in today that start their shift tomorrow. I go to one of the hotels that is not opened. They're putting all the employees up in this hotel, and then I would have a COVID-19 test. I would be in my own room, have a COVID-19 test. Once that is clear, tomorrow I can start my shift and go to the hotel that I'm working at. So let's say I'm working at the Pullman Hotel in Cayo Coco. I would go to the Pullman in the morning and they would bus me back tomorrow evening back to that hotel in Cayo Coco. So at no point for the next 14 days does my shift or anybody on my shift actually leave Cayo Coco to go home and see family or friends. All the employees are staying within the Cayo for 14 days. So that's hotel workers, that's any transferred, like the bus drivers, they're all within that Cayo. Any excursions are all remaining within the Cayo Coco, Cayo Guillermo area, and no one's leaving outside. The only exception would be the airport workers that work in immigration, and because they have very little contact with the people that are in that area, but they are being regularly tested for COVID-19. So it's a very it's a great system that the Cuban government has put up in this area of Cuba. The other interesting thing to note is that every resort will have an international clinic, and there will be a doctor and a nurse and an epidemiologist on site at each hotel that are open in Cayo Coco. So yes, to get back to answer your question, it is secluded. You are going to go and enjoy the amazing beaches of this area, but you can also feel very safe with regards to the proper protocols that have been put in place during this COVID-19.
Well, that is fantastic, Judy. I know that's going to reassure an awful lot of people about traveling, especially during this climate. Now, Lindsay, tell us, what are some must-see or must-do things while we're in Cayo Coco?
Well, Jennifer, there's some great things to do in Cayo Coco, and I love those pictures that you were showing about kite surfing, and I know Judy mentioned kite surfing. I could just get on a plane tomorrow and just go kite surfing in Cayo Coco and be happy girl.
I'm there with you. I'm there with you, Lindsay.
I wanted to tell you that we have an Air Canada Vacations exclusive event. It's called Chill Out, and it's a celebration of Pride Week for the LGBT LGBTQ community in Cuba. So it's 7 nights in this beautiful destination. It's located at the Gran Muthu Rainbow Cayo Guillermo Hotel. And the nice thing about this is there's no single supplement, which basically means you don't have to pay extra for your own room if you want to stay by yourself. The price is $1,099 from Toronto, and it departs January 10th, which is actually just right around the corner. It doesn't seem like it, but it is. And if you don't live in Toronto, don't worry. You can also connect from 54 Canadian cities. This week is going to be full of fun. So there'll be nightly performances and entertainment by Canada's Drag Race. I'm not sure if anyone's watched the show. The runner-up is Scarlett Bobo, so she'll be there. And Toronto's drag queen superstar Sophana Cox will be there as well to do nightly entertainment and performances. So it'll be a really fun week. So if you'd like to join us, you can contact your Salif Vacations travel agent to book, and spots are filling up, so make sure to make that booking sooner rather than later. Other than that, Cayo Coco has many excursion options if you'd like to experience the local flavor. The top of most people's list is a catamaran cruise, which are phenomenal in Cuba. You saw those pictures with the nice clear water. You can take that catamaran cruise. You can also take fishing excursions or sunset cruises, or once the restrictions are lifted, like Judy mentioned, you can take a day tour to the town of Moran or Ciego de Avila. You can also visit one of the several local seafood shacks that are right on the beach. And the one of the most populars is Lenny's Bar and Grill, which is named after a Canadian gentleman who was a frequent visitor. And last but not least, I just wanted to tell you about this little area called the Sitio La Guera. This is an eco-historical site where tourists can discover the biodiversity of the region, and you can take a journey into the past. So this is great for historical buffs, and you can learn about the traditions and the way of life of early settlers that inhabited the region in the early 1900s. In this area, you can even find a mini village built in the style of old coal miner settlement, and you'll see a few typical houses, some farm animals, gardens, a sugarcane mill, and a coffee pestle. So there's lots to do.
Oh my goodness. Well, listen, the pictures have sold it to me already, so they have. But now if I was to have one must-have food and drink, what would it be?
Well, if you know me, I can't just pick one, so I'm going to pick a couple.
I can't either. What's the first thing I'm going to have when I'm there, though? What's the first thing?
The first thing you have to do is get a mojito. This is
Absolutely.
made with Cuban rum, mint, lime, soda water, and sugar. So once you have that mojito in your hand, then you can look to food. Okay, so I have 2 recommendations for food. The first one is called masitas and rice. So what masitas are they're crispy chunks of fried pork. They're really tender on the inside and very crunchy on the outside. And this is the ultimate traditional Cuban food. It's served with a side of rice, and it's so delicious. And then my second recommendation is tostones. So what tostones are flat fried plantains, and you can just eat these like a bag of potato chips. They're delicious.
So I'm not going to go hungry while I'm in Cayo Coco. Is that what you're telling me, Lindsay?
That's what I'm telling you. Yeah, you won't.
Ladies, we should have had a mojito prepared for this presentation. That's what we should have done. Wouldn't that have been a good idea? You needed it when I was on mute. Anyway, Judy, I know, like myself and so many other travelers, when we go away, we love to hit the shops. What should we buy when we're in Cayo Coco, or what are the top items to purchase?
Well, there's not a lot of shopping in Cayo Coco, but without a doubt, for sure, you need to buy Cuban cigars and the Cuban rum, bar none. Some of the best cigars in the entire world. So it's really interesting when you're talking about shopping in Cayo Coco, because each resort will have their own little shopping area or gift store, I should say. But in the Cayo Coco, Cayo Guillermo area, there's actually 3 plazas that are kind of set up as, I want to call them meeting points, really. So you would have one of the centers is called the La Gaviota Plaza, and that's a 3-story building that's located right in the Cayo Coco area. And on the ground floor, they have all kinds of handicrafts, artisans where people are doing paintings and woodworks and wonderful little trinkets to bring home. So that's an option there. They also have cigar shop right there, coffee, and rum shop and boutique for souvenirs, beach items, of course. There's a market, perfumery, snack bar, and tourist information. Then the other plaza or commercial center within the Cayo Coco area is called the Plaza La Flamencos. My Spanish isn't very good, so you have to excuse me there. Anyways, this is more of an entertainment center. So in this Plaza Flamencos area, they actually have also an open air market, but they have the Blue Moon nightclub, which is a disco. They have a wellness spa that's there, a beauty salon. They actually have a bowling alley as well, which is kind of fun. And there's a Japanese restaurant. There's a jewelry store as well in this area, cigar shop again, and an outdoor stage for shows, for nighttime shows. And then, of course, they have another plaza within the Cayo Guillermo area. And interesting enough, it's called the Plaza Hemingway. So again, you can go to this area. It's an entertainment area as well. So they have a nightclub there as well for shopping and nightlife. So there is some shopping, Jennifer, but you're not going to find your Tommy Hilfiger, your discount or those kind of things. Most people are going to the Cayo Coco area to sit back and relax and enjoy the fabulous beaches and the amazing people. Now, interestingly enough, when you talk about shopping, but there is another area that people will go to, and it's called the Party Cave. And it's actually a cave. It's called the Bat Cave, believe it or not. Oh, I don't know. I haven't made it there yet, but hopefully on the next visit. But that's a nighttime show that people will go as well. So not a lot of shopping, but there is some areas where you can go and pick up your trinkets and of course the amazing Cuban cigars and Cuban rum.
Listen, my bags are packed, ladies. Now, Lindsay, I know working with Sell-Off, we get this question all the time. What currency should we bring when we go to Cuba?
All right, so your bags are packed, my bags are packed, your trip is booked with your Sell-Off Vacations agent.
Yeah,
the last
mojito is poured.
Bank, right? Mojito is poured. But the last stop's the bank, but you actually don't even need to go because you can bring Canadian dollars, which is really nice. You can really only get Cuban pesos in Cuba, so just bring your Canadian dollars down, and then once you get down there, you can convert your Canadian dollars to the Cuban peso once you arrive. Now, some places will also accept US dollars as tips, but to err on the side of caution, just bring your Canadian dollars.
I just want to interrupt there, Jennifer. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I just wanted to say, because Lindsay's talking about the Canadian dollars and US dollars, what's really cool is that a lot of times when you're at the airport in Cayo Coco, if anyone's ever been or hasn't been yet, hopefully they'll reach out to Sell-Off Vacations and book a trip, and we'll catch them there on the beach with our mojitos. But interesting enough, sometimes when you're at the airport, you'll have a lot of Cuban people that will have, it's harder for them to switch US dollars to their own currency. So a lot of times they'll try and say, can you switch this US to Canadian dollars for me? Or they'll have loonies and toonies, which they can't switch at the banks because it's a coin, not a dollar. So it's interesting. So sometimes they'll come to you and they'll have 20 loonies or 20 toonies and ask if you can give them the actual Canadian dollar or switch it to American. So didn't mean to interrupt you there, Lindsay, but it's an interesting thing that happens sometimes, and I've only seen it happen in Cuba. So
yeah, that's a good one, Judy. Actually, I feel the same way. I found I have to tell many clients about that for Cuba, especially with the coin. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's a great tip for everybody. Now, when you say bring Canadian dollars, where can you convert them? Is it do you have to go to a bank, or can you do it at the resort or the airport? What do you do?
Go ahead, Judy.
Okay, sure. Yeah, no, they have currency exchange just right at the airports, as well as all the hotels will have them on site. So it's pretty easy. I always tell people, try and grab a couple of dollars if you can at the airport, and then you can start yourself, because if everybody's always going to the front desk at the same time, as soon as they get there, may have to wait a couple hours to get more currency in and stuff like that. But most airports will have it, and you can switch it on the property itself, Jennifer.
Okay, great. And Lindsay, tell me, is English widely spoken in Cayo Coco?
Yes, so English is widely spoken. Of course, Spanish is the native language, so just make sure to set that expectation for yourself. But yes, English is widely spoken.
Great. And tell me, what is the best time to go to avoid rainy season?
Well, anytime, really. Cuba has 2 seasons. The first one's the rainy season, so that runs from May to October. And then they have the dry season, which is on the flip side, November to April, which is when most Canadians travel down to Cuba. Now, the dry season is characterized by consistently sunny and temperate weather, and the daytime temperatures are between 24 and 27 degrees Celsius. Now, there are temperature swings during this period, and it can actually get a little bit chilly when the cold front will come down from the eastern seaboard of the United States and go into Cuba. This normally happens in January and February. It's still warmer than Canada, don't worry. Now, in contrast, the rainy season, so remember that's May to October, is overall slightly warmer in Cuba, with less dramatic same-day temperature swings. So there's a small dry spell most years during August. August is the hottest and most humid month in Cuba. So if you are a real sun lover and heat lover, go in August. But any time of the year, depending on what you're looking for, is a great time to go to Cuba.
Fantastic. Now I'm just looking at that turquoise water. I've never seen something so clear. It looks fabulous. Judy, one of the big draws I know you mentioned is the fact that it's so secluded and you're just in pure paradise when you're there. But is there transportation options for people? And how do people get around?
Yeah, absolutely, Jennifer. There's a couple of different options there. They have the Jardin del Rey bus, which is a double-decker, open-top decker bus that goes between all the different hotels, and it will start in Cayo Coco, go to Cayo Guillermo, and then turn around. So it operates from about 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. It costs us about 5 CUCs, Cuban currency. So it's equivalent to about $6.50. Hop on, hop off. You can buy your tickets on the bus. All of the hotels will have a schedule there. It stops at all the hotels, and then it'll stop at the commercial plazas that I mentioned, those 3 shopping plazas, the wellness spa. There's a dolphinarium that's there that they can stop there as well. Playa Pilar, which is one of the most spectacular beaches that you'll ever find anywhere. So it stops there as well. So if people want to go for the day, it's a very cheap way to get to the beach. It'll stop at one of the boat adventure docks, the great little village that Lindsay was just mentioning. It'll stop where else? There's the climbing wall. There's a rock climbing wall actually they have in the Cayo Coco area, which is really cool. A great day to spend with your family there. All kinds of different rock climbing and climbing circuits, so it's cool. And then they have a game center as well. So this great little bus, double-decker bus, will go up and down the strip from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. in through the mangroves. It's a great way to catch a bit of sunshine and catch what's going on in that area. Of course, then you also have taxis, but the real cool thing is that the Americans, of course, were allowed in Cuba back in the 1950s, but when they left a lot of their cars. So these cars from the 1950s, you cannot imagine how well the Cubans have kept these operating. So you can use these as taxis, and you can arrange this with any of your Air Canada Vacations reps at once you're at the hotel, and they should be booked in advance. Some of them are just sitting outside hotels, but in busy season, they're very difficult to get. They're convertibles, they're the older cars, they're fantastic. And then they have the little Doto train, which is a little train. Again, it's another option that runs around certain areas, select areas within the Cayo Coco area, and that cost is about 2 CUCs, which is about $2.70 Canadian per person. Again, a fun way to go short distances, especially if you have children. And then, so lots of options to get around. And of course, the most romantic option, depending on who you're with, of course, is a horse-drawn carriage. So you can do that option as well to get around, and if you wanted to go from one area to the other. So you're certainly going to this amazing secluded area, but you're not stuck at any particular spot. There's certainly ways to get around.
Oh my goodness. I thought you literally told me there was going to be a bus and that was it. I can't get over the amount of choices. And listen, that picture of those ladies in that pink convertible would just put you in a good mood. Do you see their windswept hair and happy faces?
Well, I have to tell
Brilliant.
you, that was actually, I took that, and it was my mom and her
Oh,
aunts and my sisters,
you're
and they
not
had
serious.
my mother's wheelchair in the back trunk of that picture. So again, cool to know that, if you have mobility issues, you can certainly still get around. So yeah, these are all taken by me. This was taken when I was there just a year and a half ago, and I was just mesmerized by this all. And this is the double-decker bus, of course, that we can travel on there. So it's a great way to get around, spend a day. You're out in the sun. You can't see. Yeah, here they go.
It's
And
brilliant. It's a brilliant picture.
of course, yeah, if you have long hair, unfortunately I don't, but if you have long hair, then you may want to tie it back. But yeah, it was
Well,
really
listen,
fun.
ladies, when we go together, we're all going to get in that pink convertible, okay? That's what we'll do.
100%.
I called it the Barbie car because yeah, you can see the trunk that's open there with her wheelchair sticking out of the back.
Aye, and there we have Ken driving the car as well. We're all
Exactly.
sorted. Now, if you had to give your your best insider tips for Cayo Coco, what would it be, Judy?
Well, first and foremost, we know that a lot of people like to have their, cell phones, their laptops, or their iPads, or whatever. Service is very limited in Cuba, and without a doubt, if you are going to do a cell phone plan, make sure that your coverage or the plan that you purchase does include Cuba. That's really, really, really important. And hopefully you're just going to go and relax and enjoy the mojitos and the beach and the pork. I have to tell you this, Jennifer, I am a pork lover, and the best pork I've ever had, believe it or not, was in Cayos of Cuba. So yeah, hopefully you're going to leave all those things behind. But if you do bring them, know that there may be some frustration knowing that you're not always going to be able to log on. Anyways, you're going there to relax. The other thing is a lot of people will, bring money to do tips for these people in Cuba. And I had an interesting comment the other day. Someone said Cuba's a third world country, and I had to kind of correct them and say Cuba's not third world, it's a communist country. So there's times that they can't get things, and there's a lot of times that they can get lots of things. But lots of people now, when they go to Cuba, and amazing people, they bring toys or books or gum or clothing, something that maybe they don't have access to purchase as easily as we do. So a lot of people will leave their toiletries behind for the Cuban people as well. But I would also say I'm a snacker, and I like to have my potato chips and my chocolate bars. And that is something that I bring on most vacations. But you may not be able to purchase the kind that you're used to when you're at the gift stores in Cayos of Cuba or at the plazas. But the most important, best insider tip that I have is go and enjoy this amazing, beautiful beach destination. The sun, the surf, the sunshine. It is an amazing place to catch the sunset or watch the sunrise. If you're a beach person, you will absolutely be in heaven while you're there, without a doubt. So get back to reality, leave the technical stuff behind, get back to the basics, go and enjoy yourself, read the amazing books, and just sit there and relax and enjoy the sunshine. And you shouldn't be amongst a large crowd of people because it's pretty secluded. So just go and take it for what it is, which is absolutely a wonderful destination.
Well, listen, you've sure sold it to us, that's for sure. And it seems like the perfect place to have a much needed digital detox that I think everyone needs at the moment. Now, everybody knows that from watching our Facebook Lives that we're having a fantastic sale for Black Friday, where I know all of our destinations for sell-off vacations are now on sale. But have you ladies got a fabulous Black Friday offer for us with Air Canada Vacations to Cayo Coco? That was tongue-tied there for a minute. Cayo Coco even? Tell us a great deal that you have, Lindsay.
I have two great deals actually. So I have a Toronto to Cayo Coco 7 nights at the Grand Muthu Cayo Guillermo. This departs on December 6th, so it's right around the corner. But if you can leave last minute, you will only pay $679 taxes included from Toronto. And remember, we have connectors from all across the country, so you can connect through Toronto, and the reduced cost connectors too. So $6.79 taxes included December 6th. So make sure to contact your Self Vacations agent if you want to take advantage of this Black Friday deal, or we have so many more. It's up to 40% off right now until Friday, so you have a couple more days to decide.
Well, that sounds amazing. We just have to see if we can get the time off work, ladies. Let's see if our bosses will give us that time off. But listen, thank you both so much. The information has just been brilliant. Now, I know, as we mentioned already, we're going to have a Q&A session shortly. Are you able to hang around to answer any of the questions our viewers might have?
Absolutely.
That would be brilliant. Well, hang on then. Just up next, we have the wonderful Ashley from our St. John's branch. Ashley, how are you today?
Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
Do you wish you were back in Cayo Coco?
I do, yes.
Yeah, well, I know I do. Well, Ashley, can you just introduce yourself, say a little bit about yourself, and tell us all about your fabulous vacation in Cayo Coco?
Okay, perfect. So thanks for having me, guys. Delighted to be here, of course, and speak about my time in Cayo Coco. I'm the selling supervisor located here in St. John's, Newfoundland. I've been in the travel industry and working with Self Vacations for approximately 8 years. Over the past few years, I've had the pleasure to visit different areas of Cuba, but Cayo Coco was definitely one of my favorite areas to visit. My mother and I visited Cayo Coco back in 2016. We enjoyed a beautiful 7-night stay at the Malia Jardines del Rey property, and it didn't disappoint. We had an amazing time there. The beaches and the Cuban people are one of the main reasons that keeps me returning to visit the island, not only Cayo Coco, of course. It is one of the most friendliest and welcoming islands I've ever been to. Just visiting Cayo Coco for no other reason than the beach itself is a reward in itself. It's absolutely beautiful. Next here, you'll see some photos of our hotel. Hotel was beautiful, very welcoming. There was numerous dining options, numerous swimming pools, and one of the most beautiful beach stretches I've seen in my travels. It did not disappoint. Here you'll see some views of our room during our stay. I always enjoy a pool view balcony room, and we got just what we requested. One of the things I really enjoyed about staying here is that they offer a quiet and an active side on the property. So if you're looking for a quiet, relaxing holiday or looking for something a little bit more active with a little bit more entertainment, you actually can get the best of both worlds. So here in these pictures you will see we are on the quiet side. So you won't have that issue if you're concerned about too much noise around the pool. It worked both. It worked best for whether you're looking for something entertainment driven or you're looking for something more quiet. You'll also see the photos here with beautiful cabanas in each photo. The photo in the top left-hand corner actually was our favorite place to relax poolside daily. We would always ensure that we got there early in the morning so to claim our spot. The next best thing about our stay was definitely the beach. It's absolutely stunning. Personally, when I travel, I'm not much of a beach person at all. I can spend most of my holiday poolside, but when I do go to Cuba, a lot of my time is spent beachside. The sand is powdery white and it feels like a bag of flour under your feet. That's the best way I can describe it personally. And the transparency of the water is absolutely stunning. There's many areas along the beach stretch that you have large sandbars that actually allows you to walk hundreds of feet into the water and you can still see the nail polish on your toes. Along with some of the beautiful beaches come some of the most beautiful views. Here actually in this photo is showing some of the views from our breakfast table that we would go to each morning. In the mornings, they actually had a smaller buffet area that was right on the beach that most guests were actually unaware of. It was amazing and was our go-to spot for breakfast every morning. After settling in for a couple of days, we did decide to venture out and see what other things there were to do. As Judy had mentioned earlier, Cayo Coco is much more quieter, especially compared to some other areas on the island. It is very laid back. it's relaxing, and you don't get that hustle and bustle that people tend to see in Veradero. But to break up some of our time, we decided to do some shopping in the plaza located there. In the pictures you see here, the flea market is set up daily so that you can browse, buy some souvenirs and trinkets to take home. They also have a spa available here for any clients looking for some extra relaxation. And then the plaza also offers a bowling alley and a disco for anyone looking for some other activities and nightly entertainment. This was another reason why we really enjoyed staying at the Melilla property, the Melilla Jardines. The hotel has direct access to the plaza right from the side entrance of the lobby. So personally, I'm a bit of a night owl, and when I'm on vacation, I enjoy some nightlife and dancing, and it's always on my agenda. So it was great as it provided that easy access. Within a 1-minute walk from the lobby, you were in and out of the market area. Some of the other things that I did enjoy while I was in Cuba is seeing the old classic cars, which is something Cuba is famous for, as Judy had mentioned. The cars provide great photo ops, but you can also hire these taxis to bring you around Cayo Coco. You can venture into the local town of Moran, experience the people and the culture. I've always been an adventurer in that regard when I travel, so I do enjoy going out and about on my own. I like going at my own pace, getting to know the people and culture, not having a schedule to follow, and making my own itinerary as I go. A big tip for here with hiring the taxis, I always advise clients, is that always negotiate a price first before starting your journey. The taxis here don't have meters like they do here in Canada, so confirming your price for your trip is certainly a must. I always recommend to clients as well, and I always let my clients know that you can also book local excursions in advance. So it is something that can be arranged ahead of time. It can be paid for in advance with your package, and it can also be paid for in Canadian dollars. The next photos here, you'll see the double-decker bus that was also mentioned, and the route guide that's provided for the Melilla Jardines hotel. Bus provides the daily route around the quay. It's so much fun just to get a seat on the top deck of the bus. Very enjoyable. Some guests actually just hop on and off just to ride and take in the views on the drive. Most people are heading to one of the most beautiful beaches that is actually listed in the world, which is Playa Pilar Beach. Now, for possibly the best attraction that I personally think in Cayo Coco is the famous Playa Pilar Beach. The beach is powder white, the transparency of the water is amazing, and the beach is famous go-to for many snorkel lovers. When you arrive to Playa Pilar from your bus, you will have the option of renting a cabana or beach chair for the day. You don't have to just relax. For anyone looking to do some other activities, they offer catamaran rides. They have a dolphinarium in the area that you can visit as well. The beach also provides many different areas and places where you can just sit back, relax, enjoy some food and snacks and drinks throughout the day. It gives you the best of everything. Playa Pilar Beach was a beautiful day excursion, and you can do it on your own time and enjoy a beautiful day away from your hotel. Many people always ask me, because Cayo Coco is so quiet, what did you do in the evenings? So the last couple of slides here, you'll see some of the nightly entertainment that all the hotels work together and plan for guests in Cayo Coco. It's a weekly festival, and besides having the regular nightly entertainment and shows by each individual hotel, they do this each week, and it offers large parades throughout the market, provides lots of music and dancing. You get to mix and mingle with guests from all across all of the hotels. They have live band, of course, that plays throughout the night. They have some different performances for the guests, like dancers and fire throwers. The festival was definitely one of the highlights during my stay in Cayo Coco. So that's just a small glimpse of what I loved about my stay in Cayo Coco. All areas of Cuba have stood out to me for different reasons, but I always tell clients that Cayo Coco has some of the nicest beaches, can be so very relaxing, and can provide just enough entertainment and activity, you know, to get you throughout your week. Cayo Coco has always been one of the best spots I recommend for my clients for this reason.
Ashley, your pictures are phenomenal. They're
Thank you.
absolutely fabulous. I think, like yourself, I'm definitely a pool person as well.
Yeah.
But I think when I make it to Cayo Coco, how can you not go to those beaches?
Have you been to Cuba? Have you been to Cuba?
I haven't. But you know what?
Oh.
Looking at that picture of yours, it looks like a postcard. I need to go.
And my mother is the same feeling as me. Like, we're pool people, but when we do go to Cuba, there's a lot more time spent on the beach. It's worth it just to go to Cuba and the Keys of Cuba just for the beaches.
Oh, listen, it just looks absolutely amazing. And as I said, my bags are getting packed as we speak. But thank you so much for sharing all of your experiences. Will you stay on, Ashley, just in case we have any questions for you, okay?
Yes, of course, no problem.
Now, Shannon, are you there?
I am definitely here. How are you, Jennifer?
I'm very well, very well. Have we got questions from our viewers?
We definitely do, yes, for sure. Lots of questions came in here. Thanks, ladies, for your presentation. You did fabulous and lots of great information for sure. I haven't been to Cayo Coco myself, not that I don't want to get there, but I've been to Veradero and Holguin myself, but I will have to get to Cayo Coco next, that's for sure. I am definitely a beach person, so. So we'll get started with the questions. I'm going to address one here that someone actually posted up there not too long ago. They asked if the Kempinski Hotel is open. That's not one that's one that we sell a lot of. I think it's fairly new. I did have an agent just quickly look into it. It does say on their website that it is opening on December 1st. Not sure how accurate that is, but most certainly if you want to reach out to Ashley, she can do a little more research on that and get back to you. Her email is stjohns, STJOHNS @salofvacations.com. So if you just want to pop her a quick email, I'm sure she can find that out for you for sure.
Yeah, certainly, Shannon. I'd be more than happy
awesome.
to assist.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we'll get started with some other questions that came in. The first one here I'm going to put to you, Judy.
Sure.
Someone asked, how long do the transfers take to and from the airport and the resort? And I know that varies a bit because depending on where you choose for a resort, but
sure,
maybe just a range.
Yeah, so the airport itself is right in Cayo Coco. So if you're going to the Cayo Coco area, the longest time you would spend on a transfer would be 20 to 30 minutes max, and same going the other way to Cayo Guillermo, 20 to 30 minutes max, that's it. And the airport is tiny. There's not a lot of planes all landing at the same time. They're very well organized there, so it's in through customs. I think there's only 1 or 2 baggage carousels, so it all happens very quickly and it's very well run there. So no, maximum 30 minutes depending at all if you're going to Cayo Guillermo or Cayo Coco.
That's amazing.
Now there are, interestingly enough, and you can reach out to your sell-off vacation agents. There's another area that you still fly into Cayo Coco. It's Cayo Cruise is another area. Yes. They're developing in that area, so it's a new area, and so anything there is probably brand new. But again, reach out to Ashley or any other sell-off vacation agents in your area, because Cayo Cruise is the one that's going to be opening up very shortly. So it's actually open now, but you would fly into Cayo Coco, and that may be like a 45-minute.
I think you're right, Judy.
Yeah, but it's awesome. It's very quick transfers. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And I just have to note that when I first got into the travel industry 18 years ago, Cayo Coco was a seller, but there was not an airport on the island on the Cayo that at that time, so they had to transfer from the mainland to Cayo Coco, and I believe it was about an hour-and-a-half drive. So we're very lucky to have an airport right there now, for sure.
Yeah.
So the next question here I have, Lindsay. Someone asked, is there a departure tax that they have to pay when leaving Cuba?
That's a good question, and you know what? One I cannot recall because I was there.
I know I can answer it if.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's definitely, there is a departure tax, but it is now included in your tickets pre-purchase. Yeah. So yeah, something you don't have to worry about anymore. Yeah, so that's awesome.
Thanks,
no problem, and that's fairly recent, Lindsay. So. Another one here for you, Lindsay. Someone asked, are any excursions to the mainland offered this winter?
You know what? It's so fluid right now with COVID-19. So I guess the answer would be not yet. But one of your sell-off vacations agents would be happy to update you as the island opens up.
Okay, perfect.
Shannon,
and-
I'll just jump in there too, because
Sure.
Lindsay's absolutely correct. But I know right now during COVID-19 and why they still doing COVID testing there, they won't do any excursions outside. So it'll be all excursions. So it'll be the catamaran that Lindsay talked about, or the deep sea fishing and all that. But excursions to Moran, or going to Havana, taking a flight going to Havana, or going to a baseball game or whatever. And that's another thing. Sorry, I forgot to mention that to Jennifer, but baseball is a huge event, or a huge sport in Cuba. So when things do open up after the COVID-19, you'll definitely want to go. You can arrange that with one of your ACV reps there. Yeah, go and take in a baseball game, because that's pretty exciting to do when you're in Cuba. But as it stands during COVID-19 and they're doing the testing, they're not letting anybody outside of the Cayo.
Excellent. Thanks, Judy, for adding to that. Ashley, I have a question for you. I know you should have the answer to this because you were mentioning the beaches. So someone asked, how swimmable are the beaches in Cayo Coco?
The beaches actually in Cayo Coco and Cayo Guillermo are fabulous for that. They actually have a reputation for providing some of the best swimming conditions. It's just because of how calm the water is and how clear it is. Personally, I feel it's like swimming in a large swimming pool. You're not concerned about the heavy waves, the heavy undertows. It's so clear, you can see around you enough. Some areas it might only be like 5 feet deep. So I find it's fabulous for swimming.
Sounds fantastic for little kids too.
It is.
Certainly. Yeah.
I was just going to add too, Shannon, it was funny because the last time that I was there was this lady from Ontario, an older lady, and she was on one of those mattresses, and she started off, and she just floated, like she was kind of almost fell asleep, and everyone was yelling to her.
You could just
like,
float and tan in the water.
Yeah,
that sounds amazing right now.
Yeah.
But it was funny. So when everybody yelled at her and finally got her attention to wake her up, she's just like, she realized how far she was. She kind of looked, and she just jumped off, and she was way out, but she was only she wasn't even up to her neck, right? No. So it just goes to show you how easy it is. Like, you can swim forever and you're not going over your head. So we thought she was going to end up in Miami. Yeah, we thought she was going to end up in Miami, but she was able to walk back. So talk about walking on water, hey?
What I would do to be in that spot right now, my goodness.
Nobody's leaving this conversation and going to Cayo Coco with all of us, without all of us together, right?
Exactly.
We're all in it together, ladies.
We're all in it together.
All right, thanks, Ashley. I'm going to put another question to you, actually, as well.
Yeah.
I know you said you had traveled with your mom, but how safe is Cuba for, say, a single traveler, would you say?
Throughout the years of working in the travel industry, booking clients regularly, and just the information you get back from Cuba, it's one of the more safer destinations outside of many other Caribbean destinations. First and foremost, the Cuban people. When anybody travels to Cuba, the people of Cuba are the most friendliest and welcoming people you'll ever meet. Then you combine that with the Cuban government, their strict policies on crimes against tourists. You come with, tourism is their main source of revenue for the economy. I just think it provides an overall safe environment for especially single travelers. Right. Without a doubt. Yeah, I've never felt uncomfortable in Cuba. I've never felt uncomfortable nightly in Cuba, traveling with just 2 or 3 girls, and we were going late in the evening, going to a couple of different clubs. I've never felt uncomfortable in any way when traveling to Cuba. Not only Cayo Coco, just Cuba in itself.
Yeah, Cuba in general. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Judy, I'm going to skip back to you.
Sure.
Someone mentioned they're interested in deep sea fishing. Can that be arranged in Cayo Coco?
100%. Some of the best deep sea fishing you'll ever find in this area. So, amazing. If you're doing any kind of water sports, fishing, diving, snorkeling, kite surfing, any of that, top notch. And some of the best, some of those pictures, catamaran, whereas the catamaran I was on, like top notch equipment. top
Okay.
notch. Yeah.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
And another one here for you, Judy. Someone asked, is a 4-star in Cuba the same as a 4-star in Jamaica or Mexico? And I know that that's a
Oh.
very, very common question for us in the
Oh,
industry.
you know what? That's such a great question. Thanks for asking that. So, the thing that people need to remember is our star rating is based on each individual country. So, what's based as a 5-star in Cuba may only be, a 4 or 3.5 in Mexico or Jamaica. So, it's based on that country's star rating. Again, to remember, you're going to Cuba. You're not going to expect, there's some pretty lovely, like the Muthus that Lindsay talked about, that where we're having the LGBTQ chill out event. Those are all brand new. It was the Grand Muthu. Then they did the Rainbow Muthu and the Imperial Muthu. Those are all brand new properties. We have the Pullman. Of course, all your sell-off vacation agents can answer all of these without a doubt. So please reach out to them because they are extremely knowledgeable and they have all the rates and they can access everything. But, there are some older hotels there without a doubt. But your sell-off agents are educated. They know which are older properties and which are newer ones. Some people say, I like to say it like this. You're not going to Cuba and you're not going to walk into every room and say, depending on where you're going, oh, Oprah's Nate was here and did all the decorating. That doesn't happen because, it is a country that doesn't have access to the most modern wallpapers or their modern furnitures and all of that. And things like the things that you have to admire about Cuba is nothing is wasted. The way that they reuse and, nothing's thrown away. It's amazing. It's amazing how they fix up things. So, 5-star in Cuba is definitely not the same as a 5-star in Jamaica, but there are some amazing properties when you're talking top notch. In Cayo Coco, I would say the Muthu, the Pullman, the Amelia, those would be 2 Iberostar. Those would be, top without a doubt. Yeah.
Excellent.
Great property. There's something in Cayo Coco, Cayo Guillermo to fit everybody's budgets and everybody's needs, and sell-off vacation agents can match that to every consumer's needs. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, for sure. Excellent, Judy. Thank you so much. Lindsay, I have one more question for you. Someone asked, are there any seaweed problems on the beaches in Cayo Coco and Cayo Guillermo?
Oh, okay, that's a good question. I think Mother Nature might be best to answer this question. But, for the most part, it's normally not an issue. But, if there's a storm in the Atlantic, it may stir some up. I don't know, Judy or Ashley, do you have anything to add to that?
I just totally agree with you. There's really not, I've not, Ash, you probably are the same way. I hadn't seen a lot of seaweed issues, but that's Mother Nature, that whole seaweed stuff. And, it unfortunately does happen, but I haven't heard any major issues there.
The most I've seen, I think, would be minimal amounts in Veradero, and I believe it's because the waves. I find the waves and stuff are stronger in Veradero, but on the Key, it's very rare that I've seen buildup of seaweed or anything like that. Like, it's amazing. If you've never been to a beach in Cuba, it's worth it just to do that. Like, you can never explain it enough until you see it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Excellent. Thanks, ladies. Ashley, I'm going to skip back to you. I have a few more questions. Someone asked, are we required to have travel insurance when entering Cuba?
Of course, medical insurance is a big thing that is required when traveling to Cuba. It's not, they do say that it is required. It looks like immigration, they actually just check randomly, but it is something that is required to have. So we sell, our medical packages here, and it's so cheap for a week's vacation. Regardless if it's required or not, it's something that everyone should have. There's no reason why you shouldn't have it, and it's worth it. Throw it on your package. You add that $36 or $40 for the week, and you have it all included in case anything. Nobody wants anything to happen, but at least
when you divide that by per day, it's pretty minimal with the cost of a coffee a day. So that's excellent. Thank you, Ashley. I have 2 more questions for you. I think the weekly festival that you mentioned. Someone asked, is it free, and do you have to pay for drinks during the festival?
Actually, this one here for Cayo Coco, I had to think about it a little while because it was a few years ago. But there was no ticket fee. You
Okay.
do have to pay for your drinks in the festival, but very minimal charges. Like Cuba
Okay.
is very reasonably priced. So
Yeah.
it was, you know, a Cristal beer for $1.50.
Okay.
CUCs, right?
Yeah.
But you did, the snacks were included.
Mhm.
Just the small snacks, whether it's just chips or popcorn or something of that sort. But the drinks you did pay for, yes.
Okay. Awesome. And the very last question for you, Ashley, and then I have one more for Judy I'll skip to, and then we'll be done with our questions for the day. But Ashley, would you need to pay for chair rentals on Playa Pilar Beach where it is a public beach?
You do pay for it. Now, some people do visit and they don't take a chair at all because you can go on your own time. Some people just go visit for a couple of hours. They take their towels. They can enjoy a little spot on the beach. But the chair rentals are there and also very minimal cost. I mean, in 2016, it was probably 2 CUCs to rent a beach chair.
Wow.
You could rent a daily cabana for like 15 CUCs, and that's one of them cabana huts with the, you know, with the soft foam, and you could have that rental for a day. So
That's super reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. All right, and the very last question for this presentation is going to Judy. But thank you for answering those, Ashley. Judy, and I know you touched on this at the beginning of the presentation, but maybe if you could just give another quick overview. Someone asked, how does the COVID assurance work?
Okay, so Air Canada Vacations is offering COVID Assurance with Alliance. It's an insurance company, and any package that Sell Off Vacations is selling to your customers through Air Canada Vacation right now includes this COVID-19 assurance. So coverage commences once you get in destination. So if someone unfortunately would get to destination and come down with COVID-19, this assurance, which is included in the cost, there's no additional cost, it's included, covers $200,000 per person per trip. So it's already included in the package price that they're looking for or they purchase right now with Sell Off Vacations and Air Canada Vacations. And it's $200,000 worth of coverage that they would receive in destination. Of course, there's a toll-free number that, you know, someone would reach out to someone back in Canada on Alliance line, and they would figure out, you know, if they would either keep them within Cuba or bring them back home or how it would be handled. But it's $200,000 coverage. And actually Air Canada Vacations was one of the first tour operators to bring that on board. So again, another peace of mind for people that are traveling during this time. So it's there without a doubt. Yeah.
It's a great value for sure.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much, ladies. That was really great. I'm going to put it back to Jennifer to close us out.
Well, I know there's a lot of people that want to go to Cayos of Cuba now. So thank you so much, ladies. You've definitely sold it to me. This has been a super, super popular presentation with viewers today. So thanks to all our viewers who've logged on. If you do have, if your question wasn't answered, it's just because we had so many of them. So Shannon and Pam will still be there to answer for the next 10 minutes if you do have any questions. But also you can give the fabulous Ashley a call. Her number's right on the screen now, and she'd be more than delighted to answer any questions or shoot her an email as well. Now, I just have to say, as much as we all want to pack our bags right now and go to Cayos of Cuba, we understand that there's lots of people, although they want to get away, that they're not able to travel right now, and they're not able to do the quarantine. For those people, we're here for you when you are ready to travel. So call us at any time. We can look at options for, be it this winter, next winter, or even into 2022, depending on where you're looking at going. So we are here for you when you're ready to travel. So as I mentioned earlier on, we are running our Black Friday deals at the moment. So for those of you who can travel and who are dying to get away, there's never been a better time to give us a call. We're open until 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So the number again is on the screen right now. And be sure to tune into our Facebook Live videos as well. I'll be on later on this afternoon. I will try not to mute myself, although some people might want me to be muted, but log in and we'll have some great deals for you running every day until Monday, which is Cyber Monday. And Today's presentation is also going to be posted to our YouTube channel, My Sell-Off Vacations, and you can look at any of our past presentations as well. So and including our airline COVID safety videos, which have some great information there for you. Now, next Wednesday, we are going to be talking about all things Mazatlan in Mexico. So it's one definitely not to be missed. So tune in next Wednesday, and thank you everybody for joining us today, and see you next week.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.